March 2025. President Trump stood at a podium and revealed something that shattered every assumption about air combat. The F-47 sixth-generation fighter didn't just break speed records. It obliterated them while doing something no aircraft in history has ever achieved. This fighter hits Mach 2.5 while remaining completely invisible to radar. And it's been doing it in secret test flights since 25 years before anyone knew it existed. Every speed record set by the F-22, the F-35, even legendary aircraft like the SR-71, the F-47 just made them irrelevant. And China's brand new 6th-gen concept? It's already 5 years behind what America's been flying in classified airspace. Today, we're breaking down the speed records that just fell, how the F-47 achieved what every engineer said was impossible, and what this means for every fighter jet currently in service. Let's talk about the speed records that just became history. For decades, the fastest combat-capable aircraft was the F-22 Raptor. Top speed, Mach 2.25. That's 1,500 miles per hour. Impressive for a stealth fighter, but it came with massive compromises. The F-35 Lightning II, America's most advanced multi-role fighter, tops out at Mach 1.6. Still supersonic, but significantly slower than the F-22 it's replacing. Even legendary speed demons had limits. The SR-71 Blackbird held the absolute speed record at Mach 3.3, but it carried 0 weapons and had no stealth capability whatsoever. It was a pure reconnaissance platform, fast but defenseless. For 50 years, aerospace engineers hit the same wall. You could build a fighter that's fast, or you could build one that's stealthy and combat ready. Never both at maximum capability. The F-22 proved you could have decent speed with stealth. The F-35 showed you could have stealth with acceptable speed, but neither pushed the absolute limits of both simultaneously. The F-47 just destroyed that entire paradigm. Mach 2.5 minimum, possibly higher in classified tests, while maintaining radar cross-section smaller than the F-22. It's not just breaking records. It's rewriting what's physically possible. But here's what makes this even more shocking. Those records didn't fall last week or last month. September 2020. DARPA released a single cryptic statement. Our demonstrator aircraft have broken records in classified testing. No details, no footage, no specifications. Defense analysts went wild trying to figure out what it meant. New altitude records? Maybe. Advanced weapon systems? Possibly. But the truth was far more significant. Boeing and Lockheed Martin had been flying experimental X-plane demonstrators for months. Not prototypes of the F-47 actual test platforms pushing technologies that didn't exist in any operational fighter. These weren't short test hops. These were hundreds of hours of sustained flight testing. Supersonic runs, stealth validation, thermal management trials. Every system pushed to its absolute limit, and every single flight was classified above top secret. While China unveiled computer-generated renders of their 6th-gen concept in 2024, American test pilots had already logged over 1,000 flight hours, proving the technology actually worked. While Russia claimed they were developing similar capabilities, Boeing had already built specialized production facilities and trained workers to manufacture these aircraft. 5 years. That's the gap between America's reality and everyone else's aspirations. The F-47 didn't just destroy speed records, it destroyed the timeline everyone thought was possible for 6th-generation fighters. So how did the F-47 destroy every speed record while maintaining stealth? 3 revolutionary technologies that seemed impossible 5 years ago. Here's the fundamental problem every previous fighter faced. Speed generates heat. Heat destroys stealth materials. It's basic physics. The F-22's radar-absorbent coating starts degrading at sustained Mach 2+ speeds. The friction alone heats the airframe to over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Those polymer-based stealth materials literally cook off the aircraft skin. So for decades, stealth fighters accepted a speed ceiling. You could sprint to Mach 2+ for short bursts, but you couldn't sustain it without compromising your low observable characteristics. The F-47 doesn't just sustain Mach 2.5, it gets more stealthy at high speed. How? 3 breakthroughs that rewrote aerospace engineering. First, next-generation ceramic coatings. Researchers at NC State developed ceramic radar-absorbent materials that actually improve performance at high temperatures. While polymer-based coatings degrade, these ceramics become more effective. At Mach 2.5, when the airframe reaches 500+ degrees Fahrenheit, the molecular structure of these ceramics becomes more efficient at trapping electromagnetic waves. The hotter the aircraft flies, the stealthier it becomes. It's the exact opposite of every previous stealth fighter. Heat helps instead of hurting. Second, variable cycle adaptive engines. The F-47 uses engines from the Next Generation Adaptive Propulsion Program, NGAP. These aren't traditional turbofans. They morph their internal configuration during flight. Need maximum thrust for acceleration? They run like conventional afterburning engines. Need fuel efficiency? They reconfigure for optimal burn rates. Need stealth? They adjust exhaust flow to minimize infrared signature. The result? Sustained Mach 2+ cruise without afterburners. No massive fuel consumption. No infrared bloom that missiles can track. Just clean, efficient supersonic speed. Third, active thermal management. The F-47 skin contains micro-channel networks circulating coolant throughout the airframe. But instead of just dumping heat, the system redistributes it strategically. Hot spots get cooled. Cool areas get slightly warmed. The result is a thermal signature that appears as fragmented background noise rather than a coherent aircraft shape. Infrared sensors see scattered heat patterns that don't match any known aircraft profile. These 3 technologies combined don't just break speed records, they obliterate the fundamental trade-off between speed and stealth that limited every fighter for 50 years. So what do these destroyed speed records actually mean in real combat? Imagine a Taiwan Strait crisis. Chinese J-20 stealth fighters patrol in defensive formations. S-400 missile systems cover every approach corridor. It's designed to be an impenetrable air defense network. 4 F-47s launch from Guam 1,200 miles away. They accelerate to Mach 2.2 and enter supercruise mode. Chinese radar operators see nothing. The F-47's radar cross-section at Mach 2+ is smaller than a golf ball. By the time defensive systems detect scattered returns too faint to target, too fast to track, the F-47s are already 400 miles into contested airspace. But each F-47 doesn't fly alone. Each aircraft commands 4 AI-controlled collaborative combat aircraft, autonomous drones with their own sensors, weapons, and targeting systems. Now it's not 4 fighters, it's 4 F-47s coordinating 16 drones across 1,000 square miles. The drones spread into attack formations, forcing Chinese fighters to split up. Some carry electronic warfare packages, jamming enemy radars. Others carry air-to-air missiles, engaging from unexpected angles. Chinese J-20s launch counterattacks. But the F-47s simply accelerate to Mach 2.5 faster than the pursuing missiles can catch them in tail-chase geometry. Mission time from launch to established air superiority: 17 minutes. The F-47s return to Guam with fuel reserves. That's not theoretical. That's the validated capability from 5 years of classified testing. Speed isn't just about going fast, it's about arriving before the enemy can react and escaping before they can respond. Now let's talk about what destroying these speed records means for aviation history. China revealed its 6th-gen fighter concept in late 2024. State media called it a leap forward in aerospace technology. Analysts debated whether it could match American capabilities. But here's what those debates missed. While China was unveiling concept art, American test pilots had already flown operational demonstrators for 4 years. The jump from concept to combat ready typically takes 15 to 20 years. The F-35 program took 2 decades from initial design to full operational capability. The F-22 took nearly as long. The F-47 is doing it in 2 years from public announcement to operational deployment. How? Because Boeing bet $6 billion before they even won the contract. They built specialized production facilities for classified aircraft. They trained workers on advanced manufacturing techniques for exotic materials. They established supply chains for components that didn't exist in any other program. When President Trump announced the F-47 in March 2025, the first production aircraft was already taking shape on the assembly line. First flight, 2028. Initial operational capability, 2030. By the time China flies their first prototype, America will have operational squadrons of F-47s patrolling the Pacific. 185 total aircraft planned, each one carrying combat effectiveness equivalent to an entire squadron of F-22s from the previous generation. That's not just destroying speed records. That's destroying the development timeline everyone thought was necessary for advanced fighters. So what does this mean for every other fighter jet in the world? By 2030, F-47s will be operational across multiple theaters: Pacific, Europe, Middle East. Each aircraft flying faster than anything can intercept it, stealthier than anything can track it, and networked with AI wingmen that multiply its combat power exponentially. But the real impact isn't just tactical, it's strategic. Every fighter currently flying Chinese J-20s, Russian Su-57s, even allied F-35s, they're all designed to compete against fifth-generation threats. The F-47 just made fifth generation the baseline, not the peak. The speed records that fell weren't just numbers on a spec sheet. They represent a fundamental shift in what air superiority means. For 50 years, countries built faster fighters or stealthier fighters. The F-47 proved you can have both at levels that seemed physically impossible. Those 5 years of secret test flights weren't just validating an aircraft. They were proving American aerospace engineering can still create capabilities that adversaries don't even understand. China's showing concept art. Russia's making claims. America's been flying operational missions in classified airspace since 2020. The F-47 didn't just destroy speed records. It destroyed the assumption that America's technological edge was narrowing. And by 2030, it will redefine what air dominance means for the next 3 decades. If you want more breakdowns of the military technology that keeps America ahead, subscribe to Arsenal Exposed. We cover the systems and capabilities that actually matter. The records fell, the timeline collapsed, and aviation history just got rewritten. But the F-47 is just the beginning of America's 6th-generation revolution. We haven't even talked about the loyal wingman drones that multiply its combat power, or the directed energy weapons being integrated into future variants. If you want the full breakdown of how these AI-controlled drones are changing air warfare forever, check out the video on screen now. We reveal capabilities that make the F-47 even more unstoppable. And if you're serious about understanding the military technology that keeps America dominant, hit that subscribe button. We're Arsenal Exposed, and we bring you the systems, strategies, and secrets that actually matter in modern warfare. Don't miss the next one. The future of air combat is happening faster than anyone expected.